our teen sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m. Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio as families head into the new school year, from rising seniors and middle schoolers to parents letting go of freshmen off to college. This is your chance to pause and reset. I remember sending JoJo off to HPU. Let me tell you, I cried like a baby. Oh my God. It was horrible. It was
the emptiness.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have an empty
No, I had John and he was like, John's like triplets, but still I had that moment. Okay. Today's theme, I'm really excited, super excited. We just crossed over 800 shows. I'm really excited. Everybody, big air hugs, clapping.
Congrats.
Now to all of you. All right. Many of you have known the show since the beginning, like Fit for Life 805. Alex Ramírez actually sat and banged my kids into the men they are today. Okay, up that via Chaparral, that hill of no return with those 16-wheel tires, flip. So anyway, the theme of today's show is going to be the wounded healer. How the challenges and big transformations, even tough moments, can become sources of wisdoms and strength. Just like the changing of the seasons, back to school, the losses, your renewals. And we're going to talk about how families can navigate through it all together. So let's all dive in. Today in the house, we have Emily, our somber Yurchison. How you doing, Em? Woo! All right. She's trying to fix herself here. We've got who we got? Fit for Life 805, Alex Ramírez, Dominique Hackett, Don Sanders, and Kristine Marie, A View from the Deck.
Here on TV.
Yay! All right, so this is what we got to do. Is let's start off like we always do. Give a little love to the community, a business, somebody that you want to give a little shout out to. Kristine, who do you want to give some love to?
I want to give some love to the Oat Bakery. I want to give. Sorry, I just needed to send a message out there real quick. I want to give some love to the Oat Bakery, which is a fantastic local bakery. There's one down on Haley Street, and there's one in Montecito, right near the pavilions. And they have the most incredible bread. They do a gluten-free. They make all their bread fresh every day. They are incredible. I love their sourdough, their activated charcoal sourdough bread. It's incredible. So if anybody wants some amazing artisan bread, give them a try. And they've got delicious treats, amazing things. And they're super duper uber local. Little holes in the wall places.
Where are they located?
One on Haley, like just about Haley and on Haley between State and Chapala. And then the other one is in the shopping center where the Vons in Montecito, where the pavilions is, the Schmancy. Of course, it's all Schmancy in Montecito, but the Schmancy Vons in Montecito.
Okay, great. Yes, thank you.
Super yummy.
Sweet. Don Sanders, who do you want to give some love to?
Well, I'll shoot one up your way and give some love to the good folks at UCSB. My daughter is about to embark on her last couple of years of college after a break for COVID and lots of traveling. And she just had her orientation. She's all set to rock and roll in sometime, I think, late August, something like that. So lots of love to UCSB for providing that great community my daughter can integrate into.
Beautiful. All right, Alex, talk to me.
So you gave me this guy's info, Connor, over here at 805 Seafood. I got some white fish from him, and I made you can call it a guacamole ceviche.
Nice.
It was delicious.
Nice.
The fish was so fresh and delicious. It was like butter.
Yeah, well, he started this business. I love the family. I mean, I follow the family. Family's Bishop family. It's a soul family to me. Very invested in the school, anything that the school needed. I mean, you talk to the streets. The kids were great. Both of them great athletes. He started this during COVID. His dad's a fisherman, so people can get fresh fish. And how can you not support rising senior doing that. So we were all in from day one, put together a nice commercial. He'll have that commercial till whatever. And now he made what is it? I'm going to crush it. It's like the Harbor Patrol. He's like full time now
he's
in the
Harbor.
Yeah. So he does that and then he fishes on weekends. So yeah. So thank you that's who you want to give love to. Somebody like that. Somebody's like from the beginning when everybody's like running away and you just go to his house. His house is like, it would be like a par 4 from my house. Okay. Right. So then we just go up there. It's honor system. You got to take it out of the refrigerator. So yeah.
Freezer.
I'm sorry, freezer. Yeah. Well, I actually took it out of the refrigerator because it was caught that morning. Okay. You just pulled it out of the boat when I ate it and we ate it that night. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm glad you enjoy. So Dominique.
I want to give a shout out. This is a store that's been around for a really long time. Vices and Spices.
Oh, yeah.
They're over on State Street, 3558 State Street. They have been around for as long as I can remember. And I looked them up. They started in 1975. That's how long they've been serving our community.
I was going to say, I think they just had an anniversary, right? It's their 30-year anniversary at this point. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. And so Booth and his friend Henry, they went on a year-long global trip to find unique botanical products. And so they have been serving our community. So if you're looking for delicious teas, Vices and Spices, please
and
go
coffee
by there.
too. They've got great coffee.
Yeah, it's great. I've been there a lot. It's excellent. They got board games inside. It's crazy. I think I played with Sal Petrolina. I think I played 7 hours of chess with him by the time and just drinking, coffee. I mean, I couldn't even hold the pieces. That's like shit. I got jacked on the caffeine. It was so funny. That was brought back a memory for sure.
Fun.
But yeah, we've got a lot going on right now. I'm excited. Hey, Em, do you want to give a shout about a local business?
Yes, I'd love to give a shout out to Extra Space Storage in Goleta. Mike is the manager there, and I had to store all of my stuff for the summer, including my car. And that place was immaculate. They were so helpful when the lock wouldn't work. They came rolling around in their little mobiles. The place was so helpful in a time of great transition. So if you need to store stuff, it's a really great place to do that.
Tell their location again or their telephone number.
They're off of Los Caneros in Goleta. So you go, and a lot of the UCSB students use them when they go for the summer. So they may be unpacking things for the school year, but I would highly recommend them. They were so nice, so easy to work with, so personable, really great business.
Sweet. All right. We've got a huge show today. So we so appreciate all you out there globally. Thank you for all the support locally. We're on AM/FM stations on KZSB. This is the station that talks about Santa Barbara. Up next, Alex, Fit for Life 805. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, always.
Oh, yeah. All right. Right after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hey, Teen Sports Radio listeners. This is Alex Ramírez with Fit for Life 805. And today I want to talk to you about what, Sky's going to actually really dive into the wounded healer, and I'll save the best for last, or for him to really, get in there. But there's one thing that he has mentioned that I really, really want you guys, teens, to be aware of as school's starting. He calls it the AAA, which is awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance of maybe things that are happening in your life, the repeating patterns that may be, hard or very challenging at first, and later on can become useful lessons for you to learn and grow from. And so having that awareness for when those challenging situations arise, and then acknowledging that, hey, this is happening, I'm in it, like there's no way to avoid it, I have to go through this, and then accepting it, and then from there trying to figure it out. I mean, we all have our own ways of doing it. It's not easy, and especially in school. First week, we're all back to school. It's hot. God, it's so hot right now, and you're in class. and you don't want to be there. Your back is hurting. You're in an uncomfortable chair. It's not tough. I mean, it's not easy. It is tough. And so you're trying to figure all this out, right? And what I want you guys to understand, especially, your seniors, hopefully you have you dialed in. You know where you're going. You have your school picked out. But freshmen, take things easy. It's a lot to take in that first day. New school, new campus. You're getting lost. Teachers, you're learning everything all at once. It's so overstimulating. I wish I did this more. I would go for a walk. Like now I go for a walk when things are too much. I didn't do it enough in school. Back then it was socializing. We walked to go to lunch. That was our stress relief. We ate burgers, at Sam's, had burgers and fries, and went back to class. But it's how you manage that is really important. And figuring it out, talk to people. We have a family here, this Teen Sports Radio. We're a community. We reach out, we talk, we support each other. Find your support system. Teachers, counselors, other friends. You might be sitting alone those first few weeks at lunch, but hopefully you can find someone to connect with. Yes, Kristine.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's coming to me is also, can you find the humor in the situation? Anyway, if you can laugh, what's coming back to me is Monsters, Inc., right? Laughter powered the system so much higher than like anger or fear. So for me, what I found is if I can laugh at, and I'm not laughing at anybody else or making fun of people, but just making fun of the situation, like, oh my God, could it get any better? I mean, or what is happening here? Like, wow, and if I can do that and find a sense of humor about it, it will actually help the situation, even though it's basically the understanding that difficult stuff just happens. It's not like this is not supposed to be happening. It's like, well, this is what's happening now. And how do I navigate it? And the more we can acknowledge that, right? You talked about what the 3 A's is, and really accept it, and then maybe find a way to laugh about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
M.
Yeah, I love that. Like, it's a sense of adventure. There's a whole new, it's not just a new year, but it's a new you. You've had the summer, you've had adventures, you have things to share. You have stories, and you've grown a little taller, you've changed, you might have some new clothes for the school year. Like, enjoy the changes. And the other thing I would say is, don't be afraid of your teachers. I was a high school teacher for many years, and the relationships that you develop with your teachers, they're humans, and they're going through the same kind of thing. The school year starts and we're like, oh my gosh, right? And so connect with the humanity within everyone and ask for help. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. You are supported in this adventure. So
nice. Don Sanders.
Yeah, I like what Emily said. Seek those teachers out and find a way to just create basic rapport. And if you can have a respectful relationship with each other, then, you can open up a dialogue and they can help you far beyond, the resistance you have to sitting in that seat. I'm very well aware of what Alex was talking about. Sitting in that seat was torture. My only respite was recess. But and it's paramount to being able to move forward and just ask yourself, like, instead of that thing of why is this happening to me, just like Kristine often says, that thing about it's happening for you, not to you.
Mm-hmm. And also I was just having a thought of like embracing that discomfort. If you've been used to being on your screen and communicating through your computers or your things, there is going to be a little discomfort in connecting in with people place to place and face to face, especially with adults. But you know what? That's part of it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be like, I don't want to do it, but do it. And then the next time you do it, it'll be a little bit easier. And the next time, even a little bit easier. Yeah.
Nice. Alex, we got a minute. Let's close it up.
Well, I mean, you guys wrapped it up perfectly for me there. I mean, you put it in a box, you put a ribbon around it, and it's that. That's the complete package, kids, right there. Ask for help. Talk to your teachers. The teachers have the insight on everything. So especially teachers that have been there for a long time, they know where the best places to go to eat, where your next class is. They will help you. Usually we had hall monitors too. So they were there helping us out and guiding us that first few weeks. So yeah, don't be scared to come out of your shell, because we've been hiding all summer. Get out of your shell. And up next, we have Sky talking more. He's going to get into it about the wounded healer.
Woo, thank you. Hey, fill up your coffee. We'll be right back after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, everyone. This is Sky Ellsworth, and I'm a student at Life Chiropractic College West. And I am on an energetic high at the moment. I just got finished teaching our network spinal student community, which is one of the true highlights of my day, being able to take my number one passion, what has truly helped me in life, and being able to share that gift with other people whose lives it has changed and who also want to help to change other people's lives. This technique is just so incredible because it teaches us how to meet people where they are, how to read energy in the field, how to do so many things that can truly help people, not only physically as chiropractic is known for, but also just in how they live their lives. When we help to liberate that expression of the innate intelligence that is already flowing through us, we get to see these magical changes. People experience incredible changes in their jobs, in their lives, in their relationships. Yes, of course, in their physical health too. And it's all part of this one united picture. And it's truly incredible to be in a discipline where we get to change lives. And I encourage everybody listening, as you're starting to think in school about what you want to do as a career, to really align yourself with what you're passionate about, what your gifts are, and how you can share those gifts with other people. And that brings me to what I want to talk with you all about today. And that is the energetics of the wounded healer. The wounded healer is a fairly common archetype, and we see it a lot in society with doctors, with chiropractors, of course, acupuncturists, massage therapists, psychotherapists, there are all sorts of disciplines with people that want to help others, because that's what humanity is about at the end of the day. We're in this to change the world. We're in this to learn what our unique gifts are and to take that unique gift and be able to share it with others. And the wounded healer is a really interesting one because it creates this energetic or this dichotomy that in order to help others, we have to learn from our own suffering. And this often happens with individuals who experience some sort of health-related challenge, and they go through that challenge and they learn from it. They're like, oh, wow, I went through all of this, and this is the thing that helped me, and now I get to share that gift with other people and be able to help other people heal from that. But, what happens when I need to help someone with something that I haven't experienced? And your subconscious remembers that pattern, and you actually end up experiencing it or suffering from it, so that you learn something from it, however, whether it's directly or indirectly, and then you end up being able to help that person. And that is certainly true with me, where I came to chiropractic school because I had a chiropractic experience where I went to see a local doctor, and they made a few contacts with Network Spinal and totally changed my life in one session. And then from there on out, it kept happening over and over and over again, and I became a totally different version of myself that is more in alignment with who I was always meant to be. And it was a beautiful experience, and I did learn from my own suffering to be able to share with other people. And I am still someone who is aligned with that energetic. So I'm always experiencing some sort of physical symptom. I'm always learning from it, and I am always finding myself in situations where I can use the results of that experience to help others. Well, why does that apply to all of you teen athletes? Well, the energetic of the wounded healer is not just about being someone who's drawn to the healing arts and is always walking around sick in some way. The wounded healer is also about that underlying pattern that a lot of us have, where maybe we're in school or later on in life when we're starting to figure out what we want to do, and we start to realize that some of the most powerful and profound experiences that we've had are the things that we can then turn into gifts, and we'll go into careers based on that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's incredible. The challenge comes when you have created that pattern in your subconscious and you take it with you throughout the rest of your life. Because now you've programmed your subconscious that in order to help others, that in order to share your gift with others, you have to somehow keep re-experiencing the same pattern that got you there. And that means continuing to have experiences over and over again that you learn a lot from. And there's nothing wrong with learning a lot from experiences, but for a lot of us, sometimes the experiences that we learn the most from are ones that are pretty challenging on a lot of levels, whether that's physically, emotionally, or whatever, and we start to see a repetition of those same patterns. So how can we separate ourselves from this loop? How can we learn where our energy is so that we can go to a place that's more energized? How can we shift the structure that is already programmed for us in our subconscious mind, and which is also in the field, and how can we shift that to something that's different? And in order to do that, we have to start by acknowledging, and we've talked about this before, we have to we have to become aware of, acknowledge, and accept what we're already experiencing. And that can be, okay, I'm in a situation where I realize that a certain pattern is repeating itself, and I see what that is. And this happens to fit the archetype of the wounded healer. And again, I'm not saying that you all have the wounded healer archetype, but I'm sure some of you will. And if you don't, then you may likely experience something like it at some point in your life. It's natural. It's human. But in order to not repeat those same patterns, as a lot of people do, we have to first become aware of them. So I just wanted to introduce this archetype to all of you so you have an awareness of it. And if it comes up, then you can AAA it. You can become aware of it. You can acknowledge it for what it is, and you can just accept that it is what it is. And that's just a way of being present with what is. But how can we actually bring some transformation to the pattern to be able to shift it into something that serves us better? And that's really realizing where it is. And I don't know if we've talked about the EpiGrid yet on the radio, but if we haven't, just a really quick overview of this. The EpiGrid is an energetic location for where we store patterns in our field. So when I ask you, if I were to ask all of you, when you think of let's just say, when you think of the wounded healer, when you think of your gift, when you think of anything, where is it? And what this exercise is where is it in your field? Is it on your body? And just allowing intuitively the first thing that comes to mind. So for instance, when I think of wounded healer, I feel a space in my field that is pretty close to my body, and it's just next to my right ear. That's where it is for me. And I put my hand there because that's where the wounded healer is. Okay. So I see where that is. I know that I am an external, and again, we've talked about internal, external energy states before, and you can go back and listen to previous recordings of Teen Sports Radio on SoundCloud, so please go back and find those and listen to them. I am an external, so if something is close to my body, like it is for the wounded healer, it's not energized. My energy is further out. It's more external to me. It's away from my body. So for me, I can go out there, I can put my hands up in the air and reach them way out, and then think about the wounded healer. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Wounded Healer is the idea that my gift has absolutely nothing to do with anything that has come from the past, but my gifts have to do with everything that's going to happen in the future and the gifts that I will be sharing with others. Automatically, with that new awareness, I've shifted the energy state. I've shifted where it is in my epigrid, and I've shifted a pattern that could have been progressing forever and ever. Who knows? And these energy patterns can carry on into other lives if we haven't learned from them in this one. So it's really important to start examining the energetics of what we're experiencing. And a helpful way to do that is through archetypes. I'd love to talk about more archetypes in the future, because I think that we find that we fit into a lot of them. And ultimately, we don't want to fit into a box. We want to have an adaptable system that is able to expand and grow beyond all limits. So thank you so much again for joining me here today. And we'll be up next with a Haugh.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
For Teen Sports Radio, I'm Don Sanders. Don's Massage, Ojai.com, 805-236-2684. Here to bring you a Haugh, a Scandinavian term for a comfy, cozy feeling like receiving a hug without necessarily receiving a physical hug. And piggybacking on lots of the subjects here today, I wanted to talk about your potential, teen athletes and others, your potential to go from a small acorn to sprout and grow into a mighty oak tree. And we all have that potential. And I think, and I'm also going to make a little differentiation about how guys go about their business of maturation and growing as opposed to women. The 19th century philosopher, writer, thinker Emerson used to say, women are unsurpassed in conversation. Mm-hmm. So men, hopefully starting with your mothers, then work your way out and learn from the wisdom of how women cultivate circles of friendship and how they keep them going. We've gone through COVID, and there's been a lot of isolation and loneliness that people are still dealing with. And when I look at the example, I have one or two friends that I've kept going and rekindled and strengthened. And it's much harder, I believe, than my wife just has cascades of circles of friends, and they support each other. They get together for it's just amazing. And so, none of us as the English poet said, John Donne, no man is an island entire unto his own. And especially women know that. See how he talked about men instead of women. but so we've got to really make an effort, because everyone has a potential inside. I loved Sky's piece, and I myself actually did the Wounded Healer voyage. I didn't know it was going to be that way. I was showing a lot of promise in music, and I switched to sports. And I dealt with all sorts of injuries and problems with, growth spurts and things like that. And eventually that led me into becoming, a therapeutic massage practitioner now for, 38 years. And my mom, her best advice was, whatever you pick to do, find something that you like, because whatever you pick, you're going to be doing a lot of it. and so I've over the years I've learned to kind of whether I'm working for myself or working for somebody else in the healing. I also had a kind of an uncle figure in my life say, hey, you want to go into the health business to help people. Just keep in mind, not everybody in the health business is there to help people. But I'm very clear. That's why I'm there. I want to help somebody because I've had injuries that threaten my well-being and my continued livelihood. And I want to be able to help people through those kind of things and spare them some of the pains that I went through, even though, as we're talking about, if you will experience problems and huge obstacles, and that's just part of the deal. Just like Dominique's beautiful analogy to Sisyphus a few shows ago. It's like Camus' thing, what if Sisyphus was happy because he learned to use that rock as a training tool to keep pushing up the hill and strengthen himself, perfect himself. So anyway, any thoughts from the rest of the gang here?
I do. I was just thinking, that discomfort, is a really interesting thing, because even as a woman who is, basically acculturated to communication and talking to people and whatnot, I remember at one point in time, I think it was in my 20s, and there was this friend of mine that I worked with she was from Holland and she was Dutch and she's from a different culture. And I really wanted to be her friend. And I would just go hang out at her house and sit in the discomfort of us not even knowing what to talk about yet. I'm like, oh my God, this is uncomfortable. What am I going to do? But I really wanted to be her friend. I could feel that. And so we just managed it. We were a little bit uncomfortable trying to find the language differences and that, and then finally we became really good friends. And it was the willingness to sit through the discomfort to know that I really wanted to connect with this person. So I think, again, it's really a good idea. So whatever the discomfort is, whether it's physical, muscular discomfort to build better muscles, or whether you have to work through, the pain. I've been doing some physical pain right now in my joints, but rather than just stopping moving, I'm actually moving the joints, because I need to. If I stop moving the joints, they're going to stop moving, right?
Absolutely. After 40, everything is use it or lose it. And as I kind of spoke to before, men, I just listened to a very interesting podcast about as they age and mature, grow up and mature, a lot of men lose their male friendships. The intimate connections or even just the casual connections. And we get more isolated. And like I said, women are much better at not doing this.
Right.
Add real quick for teens. So part of this is when you're in a female mixture of things that's usually propelled by estrogen, which is associated to serotonin. That's the happy, happy hit. And we get that happy, happy hit from talking. Whereas for guys, they're more in a testosterone world and they're getting a dopamine hit with that happy, happy button. And that comes from action. So it's understandable how it is that women are more on the verbal communication, because our happy button is serotonin. And all of us have dopamine and serotonin available to us. And just know, teens, to cultivate that conversation link, you're going to get a serotonin hit. You just have to invest a little time and energy and sort of figure it out. But it has its happy space too.
Emily.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
I was fortunate in the 6th grade that, some college age guys kind of took me under their wing, kind of like surrogate big brothers, because I didn't have brothers and sisters. And they would have me over to listen to music, one of them, and they would talk about philosophy, and they would talk about, the wheel of fortune turns for everyone. No one's always on the top of the wheel. And then I'm in 6th grade, and this friend in college, he's going, "You sound like you're having an identity crisis. You're too young to have an identity crisis." But they were very supportive and encouraging. And I didn't keep up with all of them, to this time to know where they are, get in touch, but I'm always going to be grateful to them showing me some attention.
Nice.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
All right. So, and I love this in relation with teens. I mean, there is energy. There's that masculine and that feminine energy that's in us all, right? And there's also this archetypal energy, which Sky talked about, the wounded healer, right? And we have these different archetypes in us. These are actually power sources that we can get connected with and use them for our benefit. The wounded healer is a very powerful energy, because the flip side of that is the hero, right? So when you get in touch, if you're feeling depressed or anxious or nervous or whatever, what energy do you want to tap into? Is it time for action? Like even before the show, I'm just like, so anyway, just being aware that you have choice about using those energies.
You know something? You tapped on something, and Kristine Marie is up and down, up and down. Everybody's excited. We are going to continue, okay, All this and more after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
All right. Okay, you had me at archetypes, okay? I can't even spell it, so I had to say archetypes, okay? and I was just reading a little bit under chat during the break, okay? So I'm going to give you the ball, Emily Urchison, and I'm going to give the ball over to Kristine Marie, and you guys are going to finish up the show. Let's talk about this, and let's go down the deep well on this, okay? Because it was way over my head, but you guys got this.
Well, can I just say, to begin with, the easiest way, I think, to understand archetypes is their characters, right? Everybody has their movies that they like, their books and literature. You have to read about these characters. Well, we have these characters inside of us, and these are archetypes. So people talk about archetypal energy, but to me, the easiest way is just think of it as the character. And so Sky was talking about the wounded healer. That is a character that is in many of us, if not all of us. Perhaps it's hidden in all of us, but it's a really key part of understanding who you are if you have some of the traits that he talked about. So
yeah, and I think also, like, we all go through difficult times. It's a part, I don't know why, some people call this the earth school, that there are difficult things we go through. And one of my favorite lines is that our wounds are the doorways to our gifts, which means to me that they provide an opportunity. We can either be like, oh, I'm so wounded and that's it, I'm wounded forever. Or we can be like, wow, this wound, this really hurt. Like this, I feel like I was abandoned as a child, and how can I be there for myself and then therefore help other people be there for themselves, right? Or I could just be like, that's it. I'm always going to be abandoned, but I prefer to kind of find another way through. It's this doorway. That wound is really, it opens something for us, because if we can heal it in ourselves, we don't even have to teach or help other people, but we can be a model, or we can show people this is how it can be done. And that's a really positive opportunity as an archetype, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I watched a seminar yesterday, and they were talking about, like, if you're never chosen for something, like, oh, here's the lottery, or, every time you're never chosen for it. It's never me. And then you can change that in your mind, and you can even say it out loud. Well, why not me? Why not me be picked on the team? Why not me? Right. And so it is this element of adventure, curiosity, like, we are continually changing, but we hold ourselves back if we stay in the wounded energy. And the other thing that I would say about that is your body language. When you're going to school, that very first day of school, when you walk in there, right? If you walk with your head hung low and your shoulders slumped, what are you saying? What is the story you're saying? I don't matter. I'm not enough. I'm not. But what about if you stand tall and you walk, and even if your voice is shaky, you ask for what you need. You say who you are, I'm a ninth grader. And you be you. And you claim you, right? Like, it's just like those things, the body language, and it's been shown that it shifts things when we sit up tall, when we put our shoulders back, when we allow the light of who we are to shine through us.
Yeah.
So,
I told my kids that they were both catchers. And I only had to rip on my youngest one once because they were down like 11 runs in the third inning. It was like shaky, just to mercy. And we don't mercy, we don't do the mercy. But I told him, I said, I could look at you and I could tell that you were losing. You cannot do that. I mean, the catcher is you're on the stage and you got 8 other guys looking at you. You have to be the greatest pretender, because you are who they are reaching out to for hope. Because things can turn around. Okay. We had a game such that my son was a freshman at the time. We were down. We'd been crushed by Carp. It was a JV game, end up winning the game. And because it's believing. Okay. Like you say, you could change it. It's just, the coach said the right thing at the right time. And all those kids bought into it, and you can believe. I told this story, the same thing when I coached a game, and we were down 20. We didn't score a bucket the first half. That's never happened to me in the history of 28 years of coaching, and we ended up winning the game. All right. So you don't, it's like I said, I reached out there. I said, I just need one person to believe that we can win. And I had somebody, it was Nunzio Bellotti, came in from the back. I'll never forget that. Okay. He's in 8th grade. We're going to win this game. He had me believing. Okay. And we ended up winning. So that's really what it is. It's that belief.
Well, you know, what's really interesting is when I was a freshman in college, we played this game in my dorm and everyone put a card on their head and the card had like archetypes on them. And the card on my head, and I had worked really hard to have my voice be heard, right? And we couldn't see the card on our own heads. And my card says, don't listen to her. And so I was speaking and people were ignoring me. And I was like, why isn't anybody listening? I'm working really hard to be heard. And it was so wild because was one of my issues. And so when I saw the card, I was like, oh my God. And it really put me into this place of like feeling that thing. And then, then after that, we took off our cards and I laughed, but I was so frustrated, and so it was really amazing to be put in that, consciously, unconsciously. Yeah.
Yeah. My mentor who taught me the chant of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, that's always oriented my life towards getting past impasses. I mean, for 41 years, I've had it validated again and again and again. Like on my own, left to my own devices, I might some of those examples, I might want to come in looking down. I might have my shoulders slump, but through the practice for years and years, then I'm able to enter a situation more looking to sometimes be in service to others as quickly as possible. And that's another thing that gets me past, sitting there privately with my own insecurities.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I ask everybody a quick question? I know for teens, when you first enter a classroom, the question I always had to myself was, do I sit in the front row or just sit in the back row? And I started choosing to sit in the front row because I heard, hey, the front row, usually they're A students, right? And I wanted an A as easy as possible, so I picked the front. But can you talk about, is there an archetype or what is it that makes us choose front or back? And why is it that the front is actually really important?
Yeah,
are you comfortable being seen? Go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I just spent a month in an ashram in the Bahamas doing my yoga teacher training, and I always came in early and I sat right in the front because you are there making connection. And I know as a teacher that when you are there and you see those eyes, you're always looking to bring everybody in as much as you can. But it's those people that are there. And I would always be there with performers too. Like you're in the front row, you're nodding, you make a connection. You make a bond there that is beyond the physical, what's going on. And the learning happens more when you are connecting, right? You're seeing the person. There's so much information that comes, not just what's being told, but through the picture. Like in the beginning, my video wasn't working. And so Kristine's like, turn your video off. And I was like, okay, but I don't feel connected in. And so I'm like, I'm going to turn it on. And now I have a different background. It was like, but I feel more connected because I'm, connecting through the language of my body as well. So I think body language is huge. And you're saying I matter. My learning matters. I'm a winner. I sit in the front row, And
it's, I think, a lot about not being so self-conscious, or even if you are self-conscious, being willing to be seen and be uncomfortable possibly. And it really does change your relationship with the teachers. I found in high school, I didn't sit in front as much unless I really liked the class and really liked the teacher. And in college, I made it I did sit in the front more, and I did connect more with my teachers because there were a lot of people in classes, right? And like Alex had said earlier, teachers want to connect. They really do. They're people too, right? And so it's a really powerful thing to, make eye contact and be known and be seen. And it can be very uncomfortable. Again, sit through the discomfort.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a plug for people like Alex and also Dawn. If you go to people who are fitness experts and masseuses and so forth, they can help you feel comfortable in your body, and being comfortable in your body helps you present better when you're walking in a classroom and sitting in a front seat. If you've ever worked out with a trainer, you know how to hold your posture. You know how to do things properly. and even Dawn with all your body work, helping people be in their body, helping teens be in their body makes you more successful in school and sports.
And it's important to line that stuff up when you're young and to develop habits and practices that'll serve you, because after 40, we start losing mobility and we start losing strength. And especially after 40, I think all the way along, use it or lose it is a good maxim. It's like, you've got to get healthy habits that you can use for a lifetime so that you can be a vigorous, active senior,
Sweet.
Stay strong.
It's kind of like that's a cutoff sign. Sweet. Hey, it's like fake it till you make it, because even if you do pretend it a little bit and then people react to that positivity of how you're performing, and then you start owning it and then you're buying into it, and that's just the way to go. So, hey, that's a wrap for today's show. Huge thank you to all my amazing co-hosts. Thank you to all my listeners. Thank you for topping over the 800th show and all the support that we've gotten. Grateful for all the support. Laser Media, KZSB. We're on AM, FM stations, the station that talks about Santa Barbara. So until next week, God bless. And remember, teens, people's world, you just be you, because everybody else is taken. God bless. See you next week.